Hey guys, it's Crystal. And if somebody told you at the beginning of the year that one of the best smartphones of 2016 would look like this, you'd probably say, ew, really? How? And yeah, it's certainly not the prettiest phone, but the appeal of Google's new Pixel phone all comes down to what's on the inside. And to be honest, I actually like the design of this phone. I mean, you've heard it a million times from me and others that the pictures you see on the internet don't do smartphones justice because they always look better in real life, and the Pixel is no different. One complaint is its bezel size, more particularly the bottom chin. Unlike the top bezel, the bottom one seems like it has no reason to be there. I mean, there's no fingerprint scanner, there's no front-facing speaker, it's just a big blank bezel. And its two-toned look also may be a bit off-putting, aluminum on the bottom and glass on the top, but there is a reason for it. The glass is said to allow signals to pass through easier, creating better reception and data speeds. And at first I thought it would be for wireless charging, but unfortunately not the case. But this very unique design decision is probably due to a bigger reason, and Google said it themselves at the Pixel announcement event. It allows it to stick out from the rest, creating an iconic design. And that's a huge reason because Google has some huge plans for this phone and huge expectations for the future. Now here's the deal. You know the Nexus phones that have been coming out for years, like the 6P and 5X that I reviewed last year? Well, they're done. No more Nexus phones ever. And instead, we have Pixels. And no, this isn't just Google rebranding them with a new name. These Pixel phones are an entirely new thing. This year, the phone is entirely made by Google, even the design. Everything is Google's idea of what an Android smartphone should be. Google Pixel phones are pretty much in direct competition with Apple's iPhone, and they're appealing to the mainstream market by creating a very simple and clean phone experience. I mean, they're not even calling this an Android phone. Not once does it say Android when setting up the phone, and that's probably to remove the negative stigma that has been present with the word Android in the past. They come in two sizes, the smaller with a beautiful 5-inch 1080p AMOLED display, and the larger XL model with a beautiful 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED display. And that's really the only difference between the two phones, besides battery sizes of course. But most will not even notice a difference between the 1080p 5-inch display and the 5.5-inch Quad HD display. These AMOLED displays are gorgeous with vibrant colors and as deep blacks as you can get. And because of these differences in screen sizes and pixels being displayed, battery life on both phones are very similar. So finally, we have a phone that comes in a smaller model without having any features removed. I like how there's no camera bump, and it's pretty interesting that the bottom of the phone is actually thinner than the top. Now, whether you like the Pixel design or not, you can always toss a D-brand skin on there like me to get the phone to look exactly how you want it. And if that's something you're interested in, I'll put a link in the description for you. Anyway, yes, this phone is beautiful and simple, and for the first time, I don't feel like I need to do any customizing to make this phone work the way I want it to. I mean, right out of the box, it works for me. And I can confidently say that for most people, no matter how tech savvy they are, they will feel the exact same way. There's no ugly widgets pre-installed or sponsored apps or duplicate apps unless you buy it from Verizon. And you have this very clean and simple Pixel launcher, and I love the animated backgrounds it comes with. You don't have an app drawer icon. Instead, you can swipe up to access your apps, which feels very natural. And the best part is that it allows for an extra app to be placed in the dock. And there's a little G tab in the left which pulls out a Google search bar to search the web, and swiping to the right brings up your Google Now page with all your information and interests. And of course, we're running the latest version of Android 7.1 Nougat, so we have new navigation buttons on the bottom with a cool animation when clicking the home button, and a cool animation for pulling down the notification shade with blue accents instead of green, which is just a preference thing, but I really love that. And this blue also replaces a green in the Google keyboard and settings. Now, if you have trouble reaching the pull down notification shade with one hand, Google allows for the fingerprint reader that's found on the back of the phone to act as a gesture pad. So swiping down on the scanner can bring down your notification shade, which is so helpful, although you will be accidentally triggering this a lot until you get used to holding your phone differently. Speaking of the fingerprint scanner, it's super fast at reading your print, and more importantly, it's very reliable. It's one of those scanners where you never have to worry about it failing on the first try. And yes, it is on the back, so that kind of stinks if the phone is lying on a table, but when holding the phone, your finger is naturally already there, which makes it less awkward than the ones found on the front. There's a big new feature with the Pixel phones called Google Assistant, which can be launched by holding the home button. It comes up super fast, and it's kind of like the OK Google in previous phones. And yes, you can still launch it by saying OK Google and ask it questions, set reminders, text people, etc. But now it's just a little bit smarter and much more conversational. So I can ask it a question about a person, like, OK Google, who is Chris Martin?
According to Wikipedia, Christopher Anthony John Martin is an English singer, songwriter, record producer.
How old is he?
39 years old.
What band is he in?
Chris Martin's musical groups are Coldplay and Band, age 30.
Who was he married to?
Chris Martin was married to Gwyneth Paltrow until 2016.
So yeah, I don't have to keep saying his name over and over again. Everybody knows who we're talking about. One of the best things about a smartphone that software and hardware was designed by the same company is how fast it is. And the processor inside is still made by Qualcomm, so that's one area where Google still has some work to do, but still everything is optimized extremely well here, which makes this one of the fastest, actually no, definitely by far the fastest Android phone I've ever used. It's kind of unbelievable how fast it is. This phone did not have any hiccups throughout the entire week that I had it. Everything launches super fast. You touch something and it opens instantly. Dual window mode handles 2 apps at once with ease. The recent app screen pretty much always remembers where you last were, and everything is in true 60 frames per second. Pulling in side menus within apps are buttery smooth, and other animations are perfect. It's something that I can't say for a lot of Android phones. I never thought that an Android phone in 2016 would ever be this fast. And now it's time for the part of the show where we ask the question, does Snapchat suck on this Android smartphone? Good evening, my friends, and the answer to that question is yes, it does suck, but what do we expect? Wait, hold up. What? Okay. We've just got word that, no, Snapchat doesn't suck? Yep, that is saying something. Snapchat is super fast on this phone, by far the fastest on any Android phone, almost as fast as it is on the iPhone. I mean, if even Snapchat can run well, they hit the ball out of the park. And if there's ever a problem, you have live customer support chat right in the settings menu, where you can even share your screen with the agent to help fix your problem. Now, there is definitely some areas that Google failed on, like speaker quality. For all of you coming from a Nexus 6P or even an iPhone 7, your stereo speakers cannot be found here. And there's also no water resistance here. Well, not like the iPhone 7 or Galaxy S7 at least. It's IP53, which pretty much only makes it resistant to some minor splashes. When it comes to camera, Google is claiming this is the best smartphone camera ever made. And now I'm really going in depth with this. I already made 2 separate videos comparing the Pixel's camera to the iPhone 7 and Galaxy S7, and there's more to come, like my LG V20 and Nexus 6P comparisons, so make sure you're subscribed for those. But in short, I can definitely say this is up there with my favorite smartphone cameras ever. I mean, the most important thing is this camera launches fast, and it takes photos fast. It never freezes like it would tend to on last year's 6P. Now, quality-wise, what makes a photo great is very much left up to preference. And what makes the Pixel special is its dynamic range capabilities thanks to its HDR Plus mode. Yes, every phone has an HDR mode where it takes 2 shots of different exposures and quickly pieces them together to create a well-balanced shot, but the plus at the end of HDR Plus on the Pixel phone takes this even further. On top of this, it also takes a few seconds to pretty much add a filter on top and Photoshop the crap out of it, boosting saturation, contrast, and reducing the noise. It's like you have your own tiny personal Photoshopper living inside your phone after each shot you take. Is this a good or bad thing though? Well, let's just say if you're somebody who's looking for a phone that takes realistic photos, the Pixel is not going to be for you. Sometimes this HDR Plus mode can just be way too much, but most of the time, I love it. The biggest thing I look for in a smartphone is how well it can handle situations with high dynamic range. So that's where the Pixel and the Pixel XL, well, excel. The Pixel is also a low light beast in terms of brightness and colors. Pictures look incredible, but since there's no optical image stabilization here, low light pictures will never be as sharp as they are in outdoors. And one thing I have to say though that is kind of annoying is that there's 3 HDR Plus modes: off, auto, and on. And by default, HDR Plus auto is selected, which is fine, but you can never change this. And this is kind of a big deal because even when HDR Plus auto is selected and chooses to use HDR Plus, it still never looks as good as it would have if I actually put HDR Plus on manually. HDR Plus off is instant, HDR Plus auto is instant too, with about 3 seconds of post-processing, and HDR Plus on always takes a few seconds to take the shot and then about 3 seconds of post-processing. So there's definitely a difference there, and I just hope that Google pushes an update to allow us to have HDR Plus on all the time. There's also a cool lens blur feature that blurs the background to create emphasis on the subject. It works really well too, but it's a little slower than the iPhone 7 Plus because it's not instant and it's applied after the fact. It requires you to snap the picture and then slowly move the phone up. And remember, I'll be going more in depth this week with the camera, so make sure you're subscribed for that. at the end of the day, the Pixel XL and the Pixel will probably still be alive. And actually, these two phones sit at the top among other phones like the iPhone 7 Plus and the S7 Active in terms of battery life. And once again, it's another way that Google really took control of their software and optimized it, allowing me to get at least 5 to 6 hours of screen on time on both. And that's with taking tons of pictures all day long, so I'm extremely impressed. So overall, even though there are some features that I wish the Pixel had, like more water resistance, wireless charging, and front-facing speakers, everything else, seriously for me, is almost perfect. And the Pixel is something that Google intends on making for years to come. So if they keep on improving on this little by little each year, continue to market it the way that they have been, and allow more carriers to sell it, I can seriously see it becoming one of the most popular Android smartphones in the United States within the next few years. So let me know your thoughts on the Google Pixel and Pixel XL in the comments below, and be sure to check out those camera comparisons. Some are already out, some are yet to come, so make sure you're subscribed for that. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.